Live from the Green Room Studios, from the spacious property of Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 3810 Whites Creek Pike, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates.
Oh, it's Saturday morning. Means it's time for the At Home Show. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Green Room Studios here at the Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're here for you every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And today's no exception.
No, it's not an exception. We're thrilled to be here.
Yes, we are.
As normal, why don't we just jump right into the weather and get that out of the way, and we'll see what's out here in the 10-day forecast. Of course, today is Saturday, the 4th of December. November got away from us. 60 degrees for the high today, and it will be cloudy conditions today, although there's no mention of rain, so that is on the back burner until tomorrow. It will warm up a bit, but we're going to have afternoon showers, maybe an inch or a bit more of rain tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
50 degrees for the overnight low, both tonight and tomorrow night. And then Monday, it will begin to cool down, 58 for the high. And the rain will move out early in the morning, and it will clear because it's going to go to 27. But no mention of any frozen precip. You never know when that's going to occur.
That's not necessarily true.
Like a foot of snow they're getting on the Big Island in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Then there will be mostly cloudy conditions Tuesday, partly cloudy or mostly cloudy. The rest of the way in the coming week, 45, 48, 55. A little warmer, 66 on Friday. But currently it's 52 degrees here at the Bates Nursery Station in the Green Room at Bates Nursery.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All righty. Well, it is the season is upon us, and the lights are out and starting to shine along all the abodes throughout Middle Tennessee and the trees and the stuff like that. So you got to keep the garden on your mind. You got to keep your landscaping on your mind. You got to keep the home improvement stuff on your mind. So, folks, join us, 615-499-6690, or reach out at the Facebook page and make a comment or question. Or you can reach us at Instagram, because Miss Cary will be taking care of that and be monitoring that. And they're over there on the other side of the studio, David.
They are indeed. And
Who are they, David?
They being Caroline Gant, and on the right there, and on the left, Austin Lowen, and we appreciate them being here as always.
Where's the Tyler cam?
Yeah, we got, the show's not complete. There it is.
There's the Tyler
He's right
cam.
in here between us, right there. There you go. So
conspicuously absent from the normal feed of the studio this morning is Michael Stevenson, the Moose. I don't know. He's going to have to lean on.
There's a hand. Just give him a hand, everybody.
Yeah, here's one.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No, we had an equipment failure yesterday.
Yeah, we had our primary camera went down late yesterday afternoon. So the capable scramblings of Tyler Blankenship was able to come up with a configuration that will work.
He would make the Geek Squad look like kindergarten children.
The guy's got some skills when it comes to wires, and all you got to do is, if you could see off camera, you would
how
see
many wires there are.
There's quite a few. So anyway, we've got a lot to cover today, and certainly we want you to interact with us. You can also call the show. This is coming down the last couple of weeks before we figure out what we're going to change the number to, but currently 615-499-6690, and then Josh and I will spend another year memorizing a new phone number.
Oh, we'll just give the old ones out.
Yeah, we've got those.
That would be fun. Anybody that happens to be watching live, go ahead and call 615-737-9986.
Yeah, I have no idea who's on the air.
Right, it doesn't matter. Just ask them a question.
You can call that number. That was our go-to number for
request Cat Scratch Fever and Highway to Hell. And maybe the board op will be able to hook you up on that.
They might be able to do that. But we're here to talk about what you want to talk about. And thank you for sending in questions, which gives us pertinent information to discuss. And Caroline, we're going to turn it over to you and let you kind of share with us what others are thinking about.
All right, so our first question comes from Miriam Mims, one of our regulars. She asks,
Hello, Miriam.
good morning. She asks, how late can I plant perennials trees, and shrubs.
3:30.
That's the
about
latest.
as
It's going
late
to
as
start
you wanna
getting
go.
dark.
You don't want to go beyond 3:30 because you could get within an hour. It's already getting dark.
Right. I mean, the equinox is coming. I mean,
Now, as far as time of year,
Yeah.
if that's the actual nature of the question, we live in that spot in the center of the eastern United States that unless the ground is frozen and you really can't dig, which is very rare, you can plant year round, and there's absolutely no reason not to. The good thing is that if you're coming out here and seeking information, you're likely to be able to get some more in-depth and time spent helping to figure out what you need to use because it's not so crowded this time of year.
Yep.
You can get Austin over there to talk you through what's going on, or that was a perennial question specifically, and
they come up annually, though.
the questions come up annually or seasonally, but
About perennials, yes.
well, we do have
Or
Joy.
perennially.
Yeah,
yeah,
but Joy
annual
over
questions come
Joy
up as
over
well.
in the
What did I
perennial
call it?
section, and so we do have a lot of information we can cover on that.
All righty. Anything else, Cary? Oh, my.
So many this morning. So our second one comes from Missy Myers 09. She asked the best way to rid weeds from ground cover flux.
Okay, go Austin. Tell her what it's all about.
Take it away.
Easy, right? Easy peasy,
Easy
right?
peasy. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the greatest answer for ease. It's hard work pulling weeds out of flux. It is what it is with all ground covers. Weeds will come up in between them. It happens a lot. It's almost inevitable. So if you've got weeds coming up, unfortunately, the best way to do it is to get on the hands and knees and just straight pull them out. There's not an herbicide I can give you that's going to just kill those weeds and not kill your flocks. So be careful with that. But like I said, it's sometimes gardening is hard work. Most of the time it is. So
It's therapeutic, Austin.
it's therapeutic. There you go. So
It's worth
just
it.
take your afternoon, spend some time, get down there and just straight hand pull them out. That's going to be your most effective way to do it.
Yeah, and this is the time of year when they are a bit easier to deal with because we're beyond the growing season. However, there are cool weather weeds that tend to grow year round. So there's something to deal with. All ground cover type plants, be it phlox or be it ground cover junipers or other ground cover, anything like that is until you can get a thick coverage, it really is a major challenge to try to keep it clean. So you just have to stay at it. And unfortunately, that's a lot like work. It just is. And but it's a great time to meditate.
Hopefully she doesn't have a Bermuda lawn, too. I mean, that would be...
That would be really unfortunate because the Bermuda it sleeps during the winter, but it's just resting. Mm-hmm. It'll be back.
With a vengeance.
It's lulling you into a false sense of security.
Okay, so Windy Monday, love that username, asks, when do I trim my redbud trees?
Windy Monday. That sounds
Windy
like a
Monday.
meteorologist name, doesn't it? Could be.
Well, I guess my first question is I don't know
if you need to trim a leaf. I mean, if you need to, dormancy is the time to do it. So over the wintertime, whenever it's leafless, is the time to trim it. Now,
You're going to
lose some blooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all the buds are set for over the wintertime, and they're going to bloom in the early spring. So if you really want a good show, don't prune until after it's flowered, and then once it's flowered, you can prune off those branches. But for me, if it's not obstructing anything or getting in your way of your vehicle or your house or whatever,
Maybe to mow, you want to limb up from the
maybe you
bottom.
can limb it up from the bottom. That'd be fine. But really, redbuds can kind of just be left alone and let them just be a tree if they can. So.
Because they can grow into some gnarly shapes. I mean, they really are interesting.
Yeah, their branching is somewhat haunting, if you will.
I have an old one that's spooky looking.
Yeah, it is. Over the winter, they are. So, but yeah, like I said, if it can be just a tree, let it be a tree.
And there's something a lot of people may not know, that the red buds themselves are very tasty. They kind of taste like peanuts.
Really?
So yeah,
I
you can
did not
strip
know
those
that.
I
off.
didn't know that either.
They're very
Really pretty on salad.
But if you use herbicide on your lawn, I don't recommend
No.
you eat them. So as long as you're not putting chemicals down, you'd be fine. But they are quite tasty. So check that out next spring. So just think of everyone you cut off. That's all that missed opportunities of both or if you're into eating the red buds themselves, which of course are not actually red. They're kind of more of a magenta, but
Purple.
I would call them magenta, but
You would.
be that as it
You live with
may,
an artist. They're purple.
I rarely discuss color. I look at context. I get posed those kind of questions a lot.
You don't judge a bush by the context of its color?
No, I do not.
Okay, I understand.
Color in the plant world too is kind of funny. Whenever we talk about different colors, what we call, say, blue in the plant world, you don't get to see blue very often in the plant world.
Like your
true
shirt,
blue.
there's not many things. Caryopteris is one of those things. It's kind of a powder blue.
Yeah, bluebeard, people call that, and that actually is blue. But we generally say blue for a lot of things that are more purple. So it's just kind of something that's in the trade. It's just kind of funny. And like true red, true red's somewhat hard to find sometimes. So pink can be thrown in there as a red. Like we sell red flowering dogwoods. True red, that's loose.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I contend that the old time nursery guys that was in charge of naming colors were probably colorblind, or at least didn't have a very high acuity for their ability to sense what color something was. So consequently, a lot of things just get called. They were just red or blue, and they didn't know what
Purple.
else to call it.
Purple.
Yaller.
To the note to the technical staff, Alita is telling us that we're getting an echo at times. So I don't know.
Oh, no.
No?
Not again.
Okay.
We thought we had that dealt with
Yeah.
years ago.
Years
Not
ago.
months, anyway.
Months ago.
Thank you, Alita. Hopefully we'll work through that little issue there and get get that little technical snafu out of the way. All right, Cary, give us another little softball up there, or you can make it tough. It doesn't matter.
This is a fairly easy one while Tyler checks all those chords over there. So Olga
Rag asks, can tulips be planted in the shade? I have some tulips in the shade on my property that I did not plant there, and they do grow, but they only bloom like maybe one time. So,
Well, and people who have regular flowering tulips are planting them every year. Tulips are not they don't perennialize really well as far as something that will give you year in, year out color. Where you see these great displays and shows of tulips coming up, those are replanted every year. They take up once in the spring, they'll take all of the other ones out, and the next year they replant all new ones. So if you are planting it in a shade area that is under deciduous trees, that means they'll probably bloom fine because it won't be shady when they're in bloom. They bloom quite early. Austin, what's your take on that?
no, I agree. The leaves just haven't quite come out on the trees, or they're just starting to come out on the trees whenever you see your tulips in bloom. So in the shade, in the summer is one thing because your tulips aren't even going to be up or blooming at that point. They're going to be up. They won't be blooming. They'll already be done. So yeah, I mean, go ahead and do it. If it's deep, heavy shade around like conifers or something, then you may not get the spectacular blooms that you would have hoped for. So
How would the because pine needles or conifers, a lot of them drop the needles and they attack or they change the soil chemistry a bit.
It's not that dramatic.
Not that bad.
It's
Okay.
not that
Wouldn't have to worry about that.
no, I
with
mean it does
Okay.
kind of lower pH a little bit, but that's it's minimal.
Okay.
We'll just say that. And while we're on this topic, pine trees right now are shedding their needles from the interior. If you look
And it's
around town.
normal.
It is totally normal. So we get this phone call a lot on pine trees that have been planted. Are they dying, from the interior out? No, they're simply shedding, just like all conifers and evergreens have to do at some point. They shed a little bit from the interior. So if your pine trees right now are half yellow, half green, you're okay.
Yeah, if you have bought a bale of pine straw, what pine straw is, it's these long leaf pines that have shed their needles, and they don't go in there and shake them to dislodge the needles. They just rake them up off the ground and bale them. So there's nothing there that requires you to do anything. The pine trees are going to do that you're going to see a lot more white pines around here, so that's a much smaller, softer needle than you would get in pine straw. But that's the same principle, and they all do that this time of year.
Anybody who ever had a home in North Carolina probably would not use pine straw for mulch material.
Because it's everywhere, right?
It's everywhere.
Yep.
Gutters. Oh, that's the greatest stuff to dig out of a gutter too.
Mm-hmm.
Nice and slimy and black and sticky all at the same time.
Yeah, people who did not get gutters cleaned out by midweek missed a great opportunity this last week because everything was dry. We've got a willow oak next door to the nursery here that is a leaf machine. Many tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of leaves come off of that tree. They're not large leaves, but there's a lot of them. And we did not get the gutters cleaned out on the house that they're beside of. So, but we got them off the ground.
Oh, man.
So that's still got to be done.
Hey, that willow oak this year, by the way, was really pretty. It was yellow for a long time. Really nice looking tree, but you're right. It's got a million leaves on it.
That may not be an exaggeration. It may literally be a million leaves. It's a huge tree. It's a very stately tree, and it's deceivingly young. I mean, it's only about 60 years old, which doesn't sound that young, but
sure doesn't.
It looks like it's 150. I mean, it's so big around. It would take three of us to reach around it hand to hand. So it's
huge.
It's very large.
It's the canopy too is probably wider than it is tall.
At this stage of life, yes, it is starting to stretch out laterally rather than it is. I don't think it'll get taller than what it is at this point, but it continues to push out widthwise. So, that's as dense of a shade-making machine, I think, as there is in the tree world. Mm-hmm. It really grows large, grows wide, and puts out a lot of shade.
Mm-hmm. And for an oak tree, it's fairly quick. I like whenever customers come out asking for a willow oak, and I show it to them, and then I can say, hey, look at that one. Yeah. That's what it's going to do.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, that tree is in an area that has about 6 or 7 feet of topsoil, and it was downstream for many, many years from the effluent outflow of a septic tank. So it got fertilized and watered additionally. So, that's just the truth. So if you can strategically place
that tree if that tree were planted in let's say Belle Meade,
it would be
what would it have been fertilized with, David Bates?
It would be effluent is what it would have been.
Affluent and what?
Effluent.
Affluent?
Yes.
Okay. 615-499-6690. What do you got around the table over there this morning, Cary?
Oh, I brought a few things out.
Okay.
We have a lot of plants in the garden center, a lot of planters, which we discuss often. We had Karen from Pottery Market on probably about 2 months ago now. It was a great episode. If you're, inside for the winter and you want to look at old at-home show episodes, that would be a good one to look up. But I brought just a couple little samples of things that if you need some gift ideas, pairings that you could go with up in the garden center. So we've got a Prince of Orange right here in this adorable little pot.
Oh, looky there.
And we do pot up plants. So if you were to come in, you can choose a house plant and a pot yourself. We can help you choose it. And then we can pot it up on site so you don't have to worry about that. And then your gift is ready to go out the door and straight to its new home.
You probably use Earth Mix when you do that too, don't you?
We do. We use Proganics I. And that's what I use for all of my houseplants at home. It's the best. Once I started using that for my houseplants, it changed the game.
Now, one of the things that is worth mentioning, and we will probably be speaking to that frequently in the coming months, is that we're moving into the winter season. Typically, we have been closed on Saturdays during January and February simply because, it's the off season. But people have really gotten interested in tropical. So we did a major redo of our greenhouse structure this year. Austin was deeply involved in that project, and so what we've got is we've got a facility now where we can house a huge selection of tropicals and have them year round. So we will be open on Saturdays from 10 until 2 starting in January. So just keep that in mind. If you get those wintertime blues and you just need to get out and feel some sunshine and warm temperatures in a tropical environment, come on out to Bates Nursery and we'll be able to take care of that for you.
Yes, we will. We will be fully stocked all winter long. And that's where I'll spend all of my time because it's nice and heated. We just got a new heater. So
Well,
We did install a new heater. I was proud of that.
you were part of that too. A big part of that.
That was a big deal.
Well, it's taken a few more BTUs to heat this space and to be able to keep it within the range that we need.
Bavarian thermal units.
We went with a high efficiency unit, 93%. So I'm hoping that the difference in money is worthwhile. It's a lot more expensive than the other heaters, but
It's only money, David. Come on,
right.
man.
Well, I mean, it's going to be the.
You're saying you spent the money on the heater and you're not going to give Christmas bonuses this year?
I did not say that.
You didn't say that.
I did
You
not.
implied that.
I
David.
did not imply
I
that.
don't know if I heard that, Josh.
I think you're trying to do what you do best and create trouble, Josh.
Yeah, you're trying to start something over there.
You're trying to start something that does not exist.
Okay.
I believe that
You don't pay Christmas bonuses?
I believe that Christmas bonuses are likely.
Oh, likely?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I would say so. Yeah. Now, maybe not for people.
Jelly
at this
of the Month Club?
Maybe not for people at this table.
Ooh.
So there are limitations to that.
Oh, okay.
615-499-6690. Don't call that number, but I want to give it out because it's on the screen there. If you did,
No, call 615-737-9986 and ask
we're
your
not going to
question.
give out WTN's number.
No, that's not
confuse-
WTN's number, is it? It used to be their number, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
What was the one at the Farm Giant?
737-9650.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was that one. So anyway.
Call that one. Nobody will answer.
Either that
I just
or
want to jump in here and say I think our audio issues are fixed.
I
Thank
was
you
going
for
to
your
tell you
patience.
that Bill Hayes
Good job, Tyler.
has confirmed that. as
thank
well.
you for the listening audience for reporting technical issues. We're here broadcasting and we
Sounds
don't-
great to us.
You don't
Yeah.
hear it in the studio, so when there's a little technical thing, we won't ask Tyler to disclose what he found out. But he had to make so many changes yesterday to get us on the air today that, well, there was a lot of opportunity
Just can't think of everything.
There's just opportunity for
Right.
things to go slightly amiss.
I'll just say that we're all listening to the beginning of the pipe, and I had to go to the end of the pipe and listen.
Okay, there you see.
And-
That explains everything. Sure.
And Caroline's camera was the culprit because that's the new one. I know.
Always causing trouble,
Yep.
Caroline.
Yeah. Hey, we'll talk for just a moment about Earth Mix garden products, and we really are strong proponents of it here at Bates Nursery. And if you go to independent garden centers all around Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, even up into Indiana and Ohio, Earth Mix garden products are available only at independent sellers of plants. You won't find it at a box store. It is 100% organic. It is sustainably produced, and it's done so right here in Nashville, Tennessee. But the main focus of Earth Mix is a line of growing products that give you the absolute optimal results for your growing efforts. You're going to have production from your plants that you will not get with other products. It's just they don't have the knowledge of the horticultural side, and if they do, they're not applying it. And at Earth Mix Garden Products,
Oh my gosh.
also humic acid, and those go into all the growing mediums that we produce at Earth Mix Garden Products. And again, as I was saying, it's not available at box stores, but you can go to earthmix.net. Click on the Find Earth Mix tab, and once you're there, you will scroll down to see the map of all the pins of all locations around Middle Tennessee, Kentucky, and up further north. So check all those out at earthmix.net. And remember this, success in gardening begins at the ground level. When you use Earth Mix garden products, we appreciate you giving us a moment to talk about that. There you go.
Ditto.
And and Caroline, that's why she recommends Croganics Eye, a
That's
product
right.
of Earth Mix. And one of the things, a little detail about that folks might not know is that, well, that's just regular potting soil. It's got peat and
No,
stuff.
no.
There's no peat whatsoever in Earth Mix garden products. And there's a couple of reasons for that. We really feel like that coconut coir, which is what is used instead of peat, is a more sustainable product. And you don't get those nasty greenhouse fungus gnats when you use coconut coir. That comes through peat. So you won't have those in your house to deal with if you use that product. So
that's true. I've never had fungus gnats in my plants.
There you go.
You also know how to water, though, too.
I also do know how to water. I've actually never really dealt with fungus gnats before, but
but you're not going to attract them.
I'm not going to.
Because people don't. People tend to underwater outside plants and overwater inside plants because they're they think they need to be doing something. They're looking at them. Let me do something.
I would say the biggest culprit to losing your houseplants is too much love. Which is usually too much water.
And too little light.
And that too, yeah. That combination is just deadly. So
it is. So if you talk to Caroline or any of the other great staff in our garden center here, they will help you to rein in your errant watering ways and teach you how to have success.
That's the first step. Admitting that there is an issue.
Well,
yes.
Or that there's not.
Yes.
That's my biggest thing is like if your plant looks good, let it be.
Yeah.
It's fine.
If it ain't broke, don't fix
it. That's right.
What is that to your left elbow? Is that a Christmas tree, perhaps, that you have there, Caroline?
Are you talking to me? Oh,
yes,
well,
ma'am.
You just said my name, so yes, you are. It's a pine of some kind. Austin has one on his side.
Oh, okay. I can't see his side. That would be his right elbow, though. So.
Austin, what is it?
It's a pine. It's a stow pillar pine. It's a very upright growing pine. It stays somewhat thin. Stow's pillar. Stowes.
And that is a Pinus strobus cultivar. It's a white pine cultivar.
It is. So it's a native. It's a cultivar of our natives that we have here. So, but its characteristic is that it goes way more upright than a lot of pines go upright. But this one stays.
More columnar.
More columnar.
Well, and that's an increasingly more popular thing that horticulturalists and the growers are really actively looking for more, as we call them, the industry, fastigate or upright and columnar.
On the at-home show.
That just means it grows upright and columnar, and because the lot sizes that we have nowadays are not nearly as spacious.
Density is the key.
Yeah, right. Well, I've been accused of being dense,
and it's dense. Okay.
Well, nowadays it's all about what I hear. The common phrase now is I live in a tall skinny.
Right.
So. I need tall, skinny plants. So, we've got a number of them.
Well, there are some places that I would imagine that with the density and the spacing between the homes, you probably still wouldn't want to put that right down the middle of two of them. I mean,
probably not.
No, I mean, it's going to get 8 to 10 feet at height. I would imagine at least 8 or 10 feet wide.
Yeah, with age, I would say it would. It'll get taller than that too.
Well, then the key there to notice, folks, is if you notice that as with the density, if you can see the air conditioner unit on this side is offset from the other side, but you can see both of them with not being able to see down the middle, that would be what I would call a clue, wouldn't it be, David?
Man, you could construe it.
And there's nothing at all wrong with that. I mean, it's just the way that you got to be real careful to get anything to grow in there, I would think, wouldn't you?
Well, the lack of space does make people, at least it should make people spend a little bit more time on researching what they're planting and where they're planting it, because now more than ever with these tall, skinny lots and homes that are on them, people really need to be not just picking something and it looks nice right now and thinking that this size is going to be reflective of how it's going to stay in the long haul. And quite frankly, that is an erroneous assumption.
Mm-hmm. That's why you talk to us when you come out here, because we can tell you what that's going to look like in 5 years.
And with the pictures, then that you guys always ask for pictures. Bring some ideas so they can see what's going on with it.
We can't give good information unless we can see the situation that you're looking at, and frequently, we don't. If someone's trying to describe a situation to you, be it the amount of light that a spot gets, or how wide something is, people's observations are relative. So what one person might deem as being a very shady spot really is quite sunny, and something that, oh no, it's big, it really is not so big. It may be really kind of small. So we get those images and have some rough dimensions. It doesn't have to be to the inch or anything. So the house is X number of feet wide, thereabouts. So I stepped across there and it was It was 12.
Can you reach with both hands and touch both buildings and structures?
That's those things are useful information in the landscape trade because we're talking about relative space and distances. So
that particular area where you have these mated, I call them, air conditioner units out there, that's going to be a moist area as well too, most likely. I mean, because you're going to have wastewater coming off of both of them.
Yeah, and a lot of people. Of course, we're in a spot of the world where that lack of moisture is not very frequently an issue. Every 8 or 10 years we have some kind of a drought cycle. At least we have had in the past. Now we've had, we're a foot above rainfall for the year so it has not been dry really for any period of time. There's nothing could possibly have stressed. That's an established planting, and there again, Austin. I think it's interesting to talk about that people have a hard time understanding the difference between an established planting needing water and something that has just been planted. And
it's a totally different ballgame. Really, in Middle Tennessee, when a plant gets established, you pretty much don't have to irrigate that thing for the most part. Like you said, if we have a weird drought, maybe. For certain thirsty, plants. But for the most part, if it's established, it's fine. Now, a new planting is totally different. You really got to soak it right after you plant it. I mean, nice and deep all around the root zone. Stick with it. Take your time and just slowly water it. It's really got to be done. If you do that properly, you're going to save yourself a lot of effort down the road, especially this time of year, which is a great time to be planting stuff because the wintertime really waters it in for you almost, and especially like deciduous trees. This is why we plant deciduous trees in the fall, is because they don't have leaves. They're not actively photosynthesizing, so they're not using water really all that much. So planting them now and letting the winter kind of just water them through, and then the early spring, we're plenty moist around here again. So the early spring is going to keep them watered for you for the most part, and then when the summer comes around, you just keep an eye on them. Like I said earlier, if it looks good, it's fine. It's got to seek its own water. So don't just water for no reason. There's got to be a reason for water. So and when the summertime comes around next summer, just watch it. But if it looks good, let it be.
Yeah, and one of the big issues I have, so many people have irrigation systems now, and that's great. It really helps a lot. But where it's not so good is where you add, or maybe you've lost a plant for whatever reason, and you replace it, and you try to keep that one plant watered by changing your irrigation settings. You're really setting yourself up for perhaps a really big mistake. You're either going to keep everything else way too wet to keep that one wet enough. So don't abandon your garden hose and your willingness to get out there and water a single plant. That's what some people call it, Josh.
Hose pipe. Yeah. Okay.
In England, they call them that.
Hose pipes?
They call a garden hose a hose pipe. They couldn't decide whether it's a hose or a pipe, so they just call it both.
Or you're from Smyrna.
A garden hose, you need to really be mindful of what you have recently planted and water those extra rather than changing your overall irrigation settings to just to get that one plant watered enough. You may drown other things, is my point. So
alrighty,
keep that in mind.
Do we have any other questions?
Oh, of course we do. Yes. So this comes from the Honest Brush, who is one of our regular users. She asked best advice for starting a new garden bed, when and how. That's a broad question.
It is broad, and really, I would just suggest when to do it. Let's avoid the dead of the summer. So that's not the greatest time to be planting on for the plants or for you, because it adds a whole lot of work. Like I was saying earlier, this time of year is an excellent time to prep a bed and to plant it. There's plenty of moisture out there over the wintertime, and then plenty in the spring.
I would wonder, Austin, excuse me, I would wonder what kind of tools she has. I mean, and how big of a garden plot that you're going to talk to about it too. Because if you're just going to do a small raised bed, come on, let's do it today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Constructing your raised bed over the wintertime is a really good idea, and getting it ready and prepped for the spring.
Yeah, the good thing about
the soils.
The good thing about a raised bed is you're going to be putting a soil blend in there. So there's no particular incentive to get that step done way ahead of time.
But if you got a rear tine tiller or you have access to it and you want it to be in the ground, I would say we could go ahead and turn. I mean, you can go ahead and
it won't hurt to do that. It won't hurt to add compost to the area and start building that soil up. And most soils in most areas are going to be deficient in organic material. So anything you can do to help add that organic material is certainly going to add to the viability of the plants down the road.
And getting rid of the Bermuda if you can, if it happens to be in that one spot.
If you've got Bermuda, there's no getting rid of it.
No. If you got Bermuda, just build up. Just build it. Build you a bed
and
above
put
it.
some kind of a barrier cloth
Fabric,
underneath to keep it from getting in there.
Black plastic really works well.
I mean, and that's really what you have to do to kill off Bermuda is actually take black plastic beforehand. If you're going to kill off a spot, weight it down with bricks or concrete blocks in the hot part of the summer and let it just cook it. I mean, it will kill it. It'll sterilize the soil, however, so you're going to need to do some things to add microbes back to your soil, but you will be able to clear Bermuda from a spot, and you've done it without chemicals. So it's a much better way of doing it than trying to use a non-selective post-emergent herbicide such as Roundup.
But a lot of folks use cardboard. Cardboard probably wouldn't block out the sun enough to kill everything
probably
on
not
the Bermuda.
But it does a pretty good job.
It does. I've done it, but I used an old rug, which was not the classiest thing to do. But
but it had to go somewhere.
It does. I mean, I covered it with straw, so it looked a little bit better. But
that would be effective too. Really, blocking out sunlight is. Any way you can do it.
Any way you can.
Do it.
Hey, let's talk for just a minute about where we are today, Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Of course, we will be here today from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. And we're open Monday through Saturday, those hours, actually. We're now closed on Sundays, but we invite you to come in 6 days a week and come see what we've got and what you can get right now if you're a Bates Rewards member, and I bet you are.
I am.
Yeah, well, and if you're not, it's really easy to sign up. It doesn't cost anything, and we just need your name and your.
You're just going to sell all that information,
no,
though.
We do not ever. We have never. So, and by the way, we've taken a lot of steps to really work aggressively on our security and our resilience towards that. So we do take your personal privacy seriously here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. But what we also take seriously is giving you a selection of plant material that is really not you can't find it anywhere else. We scour the entire U.S. for the very finest materials that do well in our area and things that are going to add to your particular needs of your very particular landscape. And if you get out here today or whenever, maybe see Austin or Shannon or Adam or Ben or any of our other great landscape professionals and bring those photographs with you, we're going to help you get the right plants in the right place the first time. And if you are a Bates Rewards member, you're going to get 25% off all those plants right now. So come on out and see us and get 25% off all landscape plants going on right now at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. The only exception is Japanese maples. Sorry, those are still really in tight supply, so those are not included, but everything else is. So come check us out, Bates Nursery and Garden Center. And of course, we talked earlier about Earth Mix Garden products, and we definitely recommend you use that in all your plantings. Earth Mix Landscape is a great selection for things that you're going to use to amend your soil to get the best results out of it. And of course, we're conveniently located a mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. That's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. And I promise you, no matter where you are, it's worth the drive from anywhere.
Everywhere.
We have folks come from Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri,
Kentucky,
a lot of folks from Kentucky and East Tennessee. So come on out and see us. Even this time of year when a lot of other places inventory runs down, we really keep a large selection year round. So come see us. We'll help you get those right plants in the right place. Bates Nursery and Garden Center coming up on our 90th year of business. My grandmother started this little endeavor about in 1932. So coming up on it quickly.
Jumping in here, we also just sent out a monthly webinar newsletter for the Bates Nursery Botanical Boot Camps next week. Wednesday, we have Evergreens and Containers. Austin's going to be teaching that.
All right, Austin.
Yep. And then the following week, we'll have Intro to Middle Tennessee Climate, which is going to be great for everybody who's recently moved here.
Who's doing that one? I'm curious.
Ben Tress.
Ben.
Is that a gen ed class? Yeah, since it's an intro, can anybody can monitor it, right?
We're climbing up the biosciences track right now. So, you know, you're gonna get your BA or whatever.
No, and
BS.
Speaking of
That's on the At Home Show. You guys don't BS on BBC.
No, and speaking of which, we have more than 70 episodes of the Bates Nursery Botanical Boot Camp that are available out on batesnursery.com. So if there's an area that you have a curiosity about, this is a long form. These generally go at least 30 minutes. Some go as much as an hour on a specific topic.
So take your lunch break. They usually come in the middle part of the day.
Sometimes an hour and a half, Austin.
Yeah. Well, Tyler gets back here. He's going.
He cut me the last one I did.
That's it.
I got cut. But we do have one more for the month of December. Tyler, what is it?
It's called Le Croix, a fancy plancy Q&A.
And we're going to do that monthly.
Yes. This one's set for December 22nd, so it's close to the holiday, but will all three, Caroline, Austin, and me, be at the table taking your questions live?
How do you spell that?
Le Croix.
Le Croix?
Lequui.
Okay.
Fancy.
It's like, you know, it's Frenchish.
Frenchish?
It's the Y, right?
It's French Canadian is what it is.
And the great thing about it is we do stream those live over Zoom so that you get your invite, you can join right in, you can ask questions in real time, and then Tyler takes those and maybe edits them a bit to make them a little better to watch after the fact. But you get a chance to interact in real time and get to pick our brains.
I think that one's going to be fun. It'll be a
lot of fun.
Little bit more loose. We'll just kind of hang out with you, answer your questions, and have a good time.
Now, Brother Michael, you wanted
I'm excited.
You had something that you said that was going to be promised for this week in the intro about.
I just want to know what your favorite Christmas movies were.
You do.
Oh, that's easy for me. Christmas Vacation.
That's a good one.
I mean that one is just that's a must watch every year. It's just the Griswolds are where it's at.
I actually viewed portions of that this morning because young Penelope, the kitty cat that came to live at our home, we've had 3 kitties in our lives: Martin, Gigi, Guinevere, and Penelope. Penelope had never seen a Christmas tree before. Penelope is a climber.
Oh, did the Christmas tree stand? No, Diana brought home 2 new ornaments last night. These are not cheap little ornaments, I take it.
Piffle, my friend. I mean, come on. Who are you kidding? But she got the Zooms. Anybody got a kitty? You know what Zooms are. I mean, they just zoom.
Oh, yeah.
She decided that she got up in the middle of this Christmas tree. And
she was like, already in the middle of it.
You know how the squirrel came out of the Christmas tree?
Yeah.
That was Penelope this morning. So it was not a happy time. Mommy was not pleased.
Oh, I just imagine she was a little beside herself.
So, but anyhow, so you're a Christmas Vacation guy. Okay. Austin, what's yours?
I got to go Home Alone. My 5-year-old watched Home Alone for the first time last night, my 5-year-old daughter, and she loved it. And I realized how much I loved it too. The acting is so good when they're all getting hurt and his little pranks. It's just so good. So, yeah.
Especially when you know that Macaulay Culkin is your age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. And Caroline?
Mine would be Scrooged with Bill Murray. That one is hands down my favorite.
That is an excellent choice.
That was a good one.
Bill Murray is just excellent. No matter what he's doing, he's got it going on because nobody could do Bill Murray like Bill Murray.
No, absolutely not. And Tyler, what about you?
My favorite is Muppets Christmas Carol.
That's up there. That's got to be up there.
It's amazing.
It is really
It's a tearjerker.
I love that one too.
Oh my goodness, Michael, what was yours?
I like Iron Man 3. I can get my wife to watch it with me.
Is that a Christmas movie?
It is.
It is.
Marvel says it's their Christmas movie.
Okay.
Marvel Studios.
Wow. I haven't seen it.
It takes place during Christmas. My wife would say it's not, so we watch Elf a lot.
Elf is up in there too.
Oh, yeah.
So Elf is
Legendary.
up in there. Okay. I'm going to have to go with the live action Grinch with Jim Carrey. That one's going to be mine, I think. So.
Hey, well, we're getting a great shot of Tyler here. Segment of the
man.
Tyler's going to go. He forgot about the Grinch. I know.
Dang it. Everybody was pointing it out to me.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was just.
I'm like,
hey, let's
love
study Tyler's features. Let's look at him closely.
I'm sure you love the brown behind me. It's great.
It's
That's
It'll
to
be
change,
different
isn't it?
soon. Yep.
We're about to paint.
Yeah, we're going to paint in here. We're going to try. We're going to kind of do a winter refresh of the green room here.
We're going to remove things around, and we're going to have different views and stuff that's going along.
And this is since in the theme of this ever evolving
At home show.
Well, I mean, we've actually started with almost nothing. We were in the checkout area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it just the first week or the first 2 weeks?
The first 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, we were up there.
It was cold.
It was cold, and
I knocked the camera over in the middle of the broadcast.
Yeah,
we started with the iPhones, so I mean, that was the way
so
it worked.
we've come a little bit, and we've invested in a little technology, and it helps us, gives us the opportunity to hopefully put out a program that has some worthwhile information for you, and hopefully provide a small amount of entertainment value. We enjoy doing it. We hope you enjoy us enjoying it.
Enjoying it?
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions on the Instagram this
Yeah,
week?
we can try to get to 3 more. I think we can make it. This comes from Mo Fibers. And David, I feel like this is right up your alley with one of your favorite plants at your house. Fig trees exploded this summer. When and how to prune?
Yes. Well, fig tree pruning is one of those things that Mother Nature frequently dictates to you. Mm-hmm. And it has everything to do with what level of severe weather that we have over the winter. And I'm talking about how low the lowest temperature goes. Now, fig trees, while they do well here, when we have a severe cold spell and you have no snow cover on the ground, they can get frozen back all the way to the ground. Matter of fact, twice in the 12 or 15 years that I've had my fig at the side of my house,
and
I
what
had
variety
this shovel.
Is that?
That was a King Arthur.
Okay.
With that one. Twice I've had my shovel in hand, thinking, well, he really got it this time, and pull the mulch back and be one little
bitty twig. Yeah.
And of course now that fig is back up again to where it's at least it's 8 by 8 feet. At least I had many hundreds of figs on it this year. Then I regret to say the squirrels got many more of them than I did, because I really love figs. But if as long as you don't have too many squirrels, you're going to get more fruit off of a fig than anything else. So the pruning issue goes back to how cold does it get. And then twice, like I'm mentioning, I've cut it back to the ground and let it come completely back out. This year, for instance, it got almost no freeze back damage at all.
Really? After February?
No, it just didn't.
My brown turkey freezes back to the ground every year.
So consequently, I had an early crop of figs, and then I had a later crop of figs. So we had figs seemingly almost continuously from about June all the way through till freezing temperatures. So we just had them. There was a little bit of break there in the middle of the summer where there were just a lot of green ones, but it was incredible the amount of figs we got. I really recommend a fig tree in your home. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So there you go.
I have 3.
Wow.
You like them too?
I love them.
Yeah. I mean, you start eating them, and it's the most deliciously sweet fruit. If you can
It's the best.
I mean,
it's my favorite.
You just stick one in your mouth and they just explode, and it's just it's just incredible.
Honest to goodness, this year was the first year that our brown turkey has produced enough fruit to do anything with, other than a snack here or there. But we actually got enough this year to actually make preserves. So I recommend them too. Get one in the yard. It just takes a while.
They're awesome. So there's that.
All right, so on to our next question. It comes from Danny Moore, 520. She says, my umbrella tree is covered in scale. Help. So I'm assuming she's going to be talking about a Schefflera, because those do tend to attract scale and are normally called umbrella trees. Out of all of the houseplant pests to have, that is the one I would rather have. Like, it's probably, to me, the easiest one to treat. So if you can take like something that's a little high pressured, not too much that it's going to damage the plant, and you can turn the plant kind of upside down or on its side and just spray the scale off. A lot of times it will start coming off. And then I take a Q-tip with rubbing alcohol, neem oil, or insecticidal soap and just kill them and swipe them off. Then you can spray it down with neem and it'll kill the rest of them.
And the good thing about it's mild enough temperature-wise today that you could go outside, take it outside, and that way you can get, if you make a little bit of a mess, it's hard to do that in the house. Even if you put it in the tub, it's still going to be a little messy. So,
so if you can take it outside and, hose it down, you don't have to spray it with water. I mean, the rubbing alcohol, neem on a Q-tip will usually handle it.
Just depends on how large it is. They are a fast
get
growing.
Big boys.
Yes. So if you had a really big one, you might want to get it outside just to be able to. And if it's really severe and it's really big, you might consider cutting it back first. That way you've got fewer scale to deal with, and then just destroy that other growth, put it in the compost pile. It will get, the winter will take care of that if it's not inside.
Yeah, I can speak to that. My wife brought me home a Schefflera from a funeral once. It was huge and gangly and horrible, and because they're not my favorite, they're just not. But it had bugs on it. It was leggy. I didn't like it, so she brought it to me over the wintertime actually, and I brought it in, and I literally cut everything off of it. I mean, I took it down to like, I don't know, a foot maybe above the pot. Every single leaf was off. I removed it all, removed the top layer of soil that may have had some overwintering eggs or whatever, and it re-leafed out over the wintertime in the window, so it can come back without a problem if you want to cut it.
I'm loving the Tyler cam today.
It's frozen. Trying to restart it. I'm having some troubles today.
You're doing great, Tyler.
You know what?
I'm proud of you.
Despite all the difficulties, we're managing to push our way through. So,
and the new equipment is on back order, so it'll be in.
We may be getting one camera repaired. We've got another one on the way. So it'll all work out. It's just that
bear with us. It's just the at-home show.
Things happen.
Things happen.
That's what this show is all about. Is dealing with the stuff that happens. If it's on the roof, if it's if it's by the downspout, it could be all kinds of things.
In the basement.
In the basement, things happen. So, okay, I know you got two more questions there, so
we'll do one final question.
Okay.
This comes from Shing's Things. What is the proper protocol with roses? My mom always suggested hacking them down 4 to 5 inches yearly. Hacking them down.
Yeah, it is good practice to get those kind of pruned up. So you want the greenest canes are going to be your most viable. Anything old or really old and chunky that you want to remove. Anything crossing you want to get rid of. So a nice vase shape is what we want to achieve with our canes, evenly spaced apart as much as you can. And then, 4 to 6 inches is fine. Even a foot is fine. So just get them cleaned up, get them uniform, get them clean. All the leaves below the canes, let's get those removed. That'll help out with some fungal issues next year. And then you can mulch over the wintertime if you want. And then we're going to fertilize in the spring. It really helps with roses to get some fertilizer down. They're fairly heavy feeders. So, that's your mama was right.
And you're speaking specifically to hybrid tea or grandiflora type roses. You're not talking about a shrub type rose, which is
growing machines.
Well, you treat it just like a shrub. I mean, you just cut the thing back with shears. Whereas with more upright growing hybrid tea type roses, when you have those larger singular canes, that's where you need to go in there with hand pruners and
I've
clean
still
that
got
up.
blooms. My shrub roses.
Oh yeah.
We were going to have them at Christmas.
They barely go dormant here.
Right.
That's like, I think they take off New Year's and then they come right back. I mean, it's not unusual to see them getting ready to bud back up again in later January.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the name of that deal right there. Roses are growing machines.
They are.
And you're right, they are very much heavy feeders. So if you continue to give them the nutrition they need, they'll keep pushing the blooms out, providing that you've got enough sunlight.
Mm-hmm. And in early April, first week of April, typically we get our best selection of roses from Weeks Roses, which is a California company that hybridizes roses. That's the best selection to come out and get roses. So if you like some cool ones, some ones that smell good or have huge blooms with a high petal count, whatever you want, first week of April, typically we have those.
And you generally get any country artist that you want. They've got all the names.
All the names, Dolly Parton,
Lynn
Marilyn
Anderson,
Monroe,
Barbara
JFK.
Mandrell.
There's all sorts.
Yep. It's an exciting time. I bought
Henry
2.
Fonda, that's my favorite yellow rose.
Is that right?
Henry
Oh, God, it's
Fonda.
fantastic. It's the best yellow you got. Best on the market. I love it. I love a yellow rose. I'm sorry. I'm a sucker for a yellow rose.
He's from Texas, though, aren't you?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, okay.
I was born there anyway. I'm a Tennessee boy, but I was born in Texas, so I still got a little bit of blood in me.
There you go. Well, I contend everybody from Texas and Tennessee are all first cousins anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those Texicans are all descendants of Tennesseans anyway.
That's right. You know, we had a hand in their getting a good start. So there you go. So does that wind us up on the questions? Josh, you got nothing on your side?
Nothing on the comments unless I'm monitoring the at-home show
Well,
feed.
how about we throw one more out there? Just
Okay.
to close up the show. Girl called Alex asks, is it still a good time to plant arborvitae? I planted during the summer, but they all died.
Oh, let's talk about that, Austin. About they shouldn't be dying, and but this is certainly an easier time of year from the maintenance standpoint.
Much easier, yeah. Planting anything in the summer is stressful on both you and the plant, but specifically arborvitae. They need to stay moist, but not like soaked all the time. So if you plant them in the summer and they died, it's because of one thing, and that's water, and it's not enough of it typically. So yes, it is a good time to plant arborvitae right now. Let the winter water it for you. And you still have to water a little bit, obviously, especially right when you plant it. But yeah, way, way better to plant now than it is in the summer.
And this would be the one plant that I would really, really, really recommend you dig the right kind of hole and you use your soil amendments, the proper ones to go along with your.
It makes a big difference, and particularly, you know, what people don't realize is that plants, while they are dormant and sleeping right now, the roots don't sleep. The roots continue to grow. So you get those planted now and you let those roots become established, you've got at least almost a full year head start on things that you plant next year, because you don't have to be so mindful of them ever getting a little bit dry here or there. So, you know,
and Austin, you do not want to plant those below the level of the ground or above. You want to be just right at level with the arborvitae.
Right at soil level or a little bit above it.
Yeah.
Never with any plant you want to go any deeper than where that soil level already is.
you know,
So,
and that's one of the biggest no-nos.
yeah, people bury stems too much. So, yeah.
Don't want to build a bowl for those because they're known to have a little bit of the root rot too, aren't they? Or,
Yeah, they can be bad in both ways.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
under
they're
or
not
over.
a good conifers in general, and that's not always with every specific cultivar, but most of them do not like wet feet. So therein lies the issue of getting them whether they're staying evenly wet, and there are people who struggle with that of just not knowing where the sweet spot is moisture wise. And generally speaking, you're going to soak things thoroughly, and then you let them dry out. That doesn't matter if it's indoors or outdoors.
Alrighty, folks. Music means that we are done with this edition of the At Home Show, but we're going to invite you back next Saturday morning for another hour. I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
Michael's going to be here. It's going to be Michael's last day, but oh my goodness, so we'll have to have a going away party. Corey Smith, I'm sure, will call on that day. So.
Likely.
Okay. But folks, for everyone here and the entire team here at the At Home Show, we thank you for participating in this program and invite you back again to the Green Room Studios for the At Home Show next Saturday morning at 8 o'clock Central Time. We'll see you then.